My name's Sanjay Jit, and I'm a filmmaker, 3D artist, and game dev from Vancouver, Canada. And today I'm going to be showing you how I made the Sci-Fi short inside of Blender. So first I like to gather reference imagery. This is Sci-Fi, so brutalism is always a good choice. It has that really monolithic look to it. And, for the vehicles, going for that kind of James Cameron hard body military look. Really angry, really sci-fi. I sculpted the car using VR in a program called Adobe Medium. Here you see me painting in rough shapes and sketching out ideas. I like this method because it's very on the fly and it feels organic. As a result, the model has a very handmade feel, almost like a toy model, which I find stylistically endearing. It's pretty jank, and you might, you're not going to use this in a production pipeline. But for your own personal projects or short films, I think this is perfectly fine. After I'm finished with the larger shapes, I start going in and adding finer details. Flaps, exhaust, sidebars, pistons, pipes, valves. I'm trying to give the vehicle an angry and tactile look, something you'd expect to see in a sci-fi dystopian world. I especially like this huge, sinister front grille and how everything kind of connects to the central processor. It kind of lends to the idea that the vehicle is like a drone or a self-driving autonomous vehicle. Even these wheels are very janky, but I love it. So next is a texturing. Here I'm prepping a mega texture. It's just gathering an assortment of reference images and placing them in one file so I can access them all at once. It just speeds things up and it's really convenient. And here you can see me just unwrapping shapes and placing them on the texture. Once again, very janky, very rough looking, but perfectly fine for personal look dev. So next is blocking in the environment. At this stage, I'm focusing on shapes, patterns, repeating lines, rectangles, deep insets. I'm taking lots of inspiration from the reference images we gathered earlier, but I'm also letting things evolve naturally from the process. I'm not really aiming for technical accuracy, but instead I'm just feeling out the shape language and seeing what fits together, trying to find an architectural rhythm. So next is lighting, and this is where you figure out a lot of your tone and you get that cinematic punch. Just trying to keep a really tight palette. Mostly blue with some white on the rims and red accents. And I'm mostly doing far side keying, which means the light's pointing towards the camera, which gives you a lot of shadows in the foreground. You don't want to overlight things here. And now I'm just trying to add a bit of texture to the city, adding some mega scans or fence railings and other assets. I'm thinking junky looking, post-apocalyptic, rust, right? A lot of droopy metal cables. Here I'm adding fog in using video plates, which is pretty useful if they're in the distance and you're just going to save on processing power, because rendering fog can be really heavy on a computer. Comparing progress photos is always helpful. So I'm building out a few custom assets here to help sell that junky sci-fi dystopian city aesthetic that I'm going for, and I'm keeping them somewhat modular so I can stack them or reuse them or mix and match them in different and interesting ways. I'm thinking things like industrial side vents or massive fans, grates, cooling towers, even using landing lights as little accent lights to break things up. As always, I'm keeping it fast and dirty, texturing everything using the infamous Ian Hubert method. And once again, they're all based on a single mega texture, so it kind of unifies the art style of it all together. Here I take a mini pipe and make a mega pipe. Here's some important R&D. And now I'm adding those assets onto the city, just kind of kit bashing, and this process is usually pretty fun as things really start to pop and rough forms become more refined as you layer things in. You come up with new ideas here. You can even see how I'm filling that space in on the right with these cooling towers and really change the look here as I go, just kind of building everything up and making this industrial landscape. It's always good to world build with posters. So here I'm playing with fog, which just helps so much with the ambience and helps sell things. You watch something like Blade Runner or Alien, you'll see this technique just used all over the place. It's really convenient because it can cover up bad textures as well or janky models. I have 3 layers here, kind of a lower blanket, a mid-level, and an upper atmosphere. It takes some tinkering to kind of get it all working together, but it's very much worth it. Okay, so this is rigging the car, which I use the RBC add-on. It's really fun, just kind of plug and play. You just select the 4 car wheels and the car body, and it generates suspension in a rig. And the cool thing is you get to control it with the Xbox controller, so that's a lot of fun. Here you can see it just reacting with the physics. At this point, I just refine things, iterate, do a sound design pass, color grade and resolve, and make a sound score in Ableton. And here's the finished product. Sweet. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you learned something, and if you have any questions, just feel free to drop a comment. Other than that, have a wonderful day.